Welcome to the Bace Min Hee Thinking Direction podcast, where powerful thinking unlocks a powerful life. Ever wonder why two people face the same problem, but one crumbles while the other breaks through? The secret lies in how we think. If you're ready to upgrade your mindset, make smarter decisions, and level up your life one thought at a time, you're in the right place. Right finger, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment so you never miss an episode. Let's start building a better mind, starting today. Now, let's dive in. The way of the martial mind, in business. Opening script, podcast style. Have you ever felt like stepping into the business world is a bit like entering a vast martial realm? A place where wins and losses aren't decided by degrees, titles, or how loud you shout, but by the move you choose, and the exact moment you choose to make it. I'm not talking about literal martial arts here. I'm talking about a kind of mental martial art, where every entrepreneur is a kind of warrior in their own way. Some strike early, some move fast and win quickly. Others stay hidden, watching quietly, and only act when the time is right. And some, they only have one true technique. But that one move, used at the right time, can change everything. The business world today isn't so different. We study everything: marketing, sales funnels, live streaming, AI tools, advertising, and yet, people still fail. Why? Because they haven't truly figured out what their real move is, or when to use it. So today, I want to invite you into a different kind of journey. A journey where ancient martial philosophies from Jin Yang's wuxia novels are reimagined as powerful business strategies in the modern world. 10 schools, 10 philosophies, 10 distinct mindsets for business. Each one isn't just a name from a story. It's a way of thinking, a way of showing up in the marketplace. You might be Thu Lam, solid, disciplined, quietly building strength for that one decisive strike. Or Vo Dang, soft, fluid, able to shift the game without ever clashing head-on. Or maybe you're Tiu Dao, free-spirited, ever-changing, never bound to any system, but thriving through adaptability. At some point, you might stop and ask yourself, what path am I really on? What is my one true move? Instead of chasing 10 new tricks, what if I just chose one, the right one, and mastered it fully? Because today, I'm not just here to talk about business strategies. I'm here to talk about martial mindsets. About how you see yourself in the game, and how one well-timed move is often all it takes to become a true master. Let's begin. Shaolin, the Buddha palm strike. The ultimate move of deep internal strength, forged in years of quiet discipline. There's a type of person in business you rarely hear about. They don't talk much. They're not flashy. They're not good at showing off on social media or pushing ads every day. In fact, most people barely notice them until they make a move. And when they do, everyone stops to look. These are the ones who walk the path of Shaolin. Their technique? The Buddha palm strike, not a move for performance, but a strike meant to end the game. But to unleash a move like that, they don't train by running faster or shouting louder. They train by building inner power, in silence, in the background, with patience. They spend years mastering their craft, refining their process, strengthening their foundation, all without applause. Because some strategies, they don't belong to the quick and the loud. They belong to those who dare to go deep instead of wide. To build quietly, while everyone else is racing. Let me tell you a story. There was a small print shop owner on the edge of the city. No signboard, no website, no social media presence. For 3 years straight, he did one thing and one thing only. He rebuilt his entire printing workflow, from file to final delivery. He made it 20% cheaper and faster than the rest of the market. No ads, no buzz, no client hunting. He was building internal strength. In his 4th year, he sent out a simple one-line message to 10 fashion retail chains. Need 3,000 brochures printed and delivered in 48 hours to 20% cheaper than market price. That's it. Result? 3 of the 10 signed contracts immediately. 6 months later, he was the exclusive print partner for over 40 showrooms. No marketing tricks, no sales funnel, just one move, but it was strong, timely, and precise. That is the Buddha palm strike in business. The real question is, do you have the patience to build your foundation before you explode? Do you dare to slow down, so you can go further? Because the strongest strike doesn't always come from power. Sometimes, it comes from depth. People who walk the Shaolin path don't worry about being forgotten. Because when they finally act, they don't need a second strike. Studio microphone Wudang. Tai Chi sword technique. Softness wins. Redirection conquers, when true victory doesn't come from clashing. In traditional martial arts, there's one school that doesn't shout, doesn't strike first, and doesn't rely on brute strength. They don't charge in with swords blazing. They move like wind, and redirect the fight. That school is Wudang, and their legendary move? The Tai Chi sword technique. It doesn't confront head-on. It doesn't force. Instead, it leads the opponent's energy, absorbs it, transforms it, then shifts the entire dynamic. From losing to winning. Sounds mystical, doesn't it? But in business, this is one of the sharpest mental strategies you can ever learn. Because not everyone has the strength to clash. Not every business has the capital to scale. Not every founder has the team to go big. And truthfully, you don't always need to. If you've ever felt too small in a world full of giants, if you've ever looked around and thought, there's no space for someone like me, then maybe the Tai Chi sword was made for you. You don't need to fight for space on crowded roads. You just need to take a quieter path, one most people overlook. You don't need to dominate a hot, saturated market. You just need to serve a forgotten corner of it, with care and presence. Let me tell you a story. Back in California, I once worked with a small group of young Vietnamese immigrants. One of them, Thao, left a strong impression on me. She studied nail art at a small beauty school. After working for a few years in local salons, she dreamed of opening her own place, right in her apartment complex. But when she did her research, she realized there were already 4 nail salons within a few hundred meters. Big ones, bright neon lights, full-service packages, spa, massage, gel polish, even hairstyling. Many would have walked away. But Thao didn't fight head-on. She chose to redirect. She paid attention. Most of the residents there were working women, coming home late, tired, and overwhelmed. They didn't want glitz and glam. They just wanted peace. So Thao rented a small ground floor apartment and turned it into a mini in-home spa. Soft chairs, warm lighting, gentle music, hints of essential oil. No signboards, no live streams, no promotions. And she served one client at a time. No waiting, no rush, no noise. Within just 3 months, her schedule was fully booked 2 weeks in advance. Not because she was the cheapest, but because the experience was unlike anything else. Clients told friends. Word spread. She opened a second space in the same building. Still, just 1 guest per session. People didn't call it a nail salon. They called it a place to rest your mind, not just get your nails done. She didn't attack the market. She reshaped it around herself. That is the essence of the Tai Chi sword technique. Don't fight. Lead. Don't clash. Flow. This world is getting louder. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to make noise and scale fast. But have you noticed? In the silence, a soft voice often stands out the most. In the stillness, people listen more deeply. Tai Chi is a path for those who know. Sometimes, stepping back once allows you to move forward 3 times. You don't win by force. You win by subtlety, by insight, by grace. Most of all, you win by seeing what others don't. You don't need to be stronger than others. You just need to be more flexible than who you were yesterday. Because in a world that's always running, those who can pivot are the ones who stay. Beggar's Sect, Dragon Slaying 18 Palms. When speed and boldness are your only shot at survival. In the world of martial arts, there's a certain kind of move. No build-up, no show, no waiting for the right time. It strikes like lightning, straight to the heart of the battlefield. Fast, fierce, final. Just one blow, and your opponent is reeling. But if that strike doesn't land, then it's the one who throws it that pays the price. That is the Dragon Slaying 18 Palms, the explosive signature move of the Beggar's Sect. A move that doesn't dodge, doesn't dance, doesn't hesitate. It hits hard. It hits first. It hits to win. And in business, there are people like that too. They don't tiptoe around markets. They don't test quietly. They don't build internal strength and wait. They go all in from day one, because they know, if they don't make a loud enough noise at launch, the market will swallow them whole. These people don't wait for the perfect setup. They don't need ideal conditions. They act fast, hard, and they're willing to take the fall if it doesn't go right. Let me tell you a true story. It happened at an agricultural university in Vietnam. 3 broke students, full of fire, made a small earthquake among local youth. Their names were Ka, Du, and Hoi, food science majors. No money, no network, no startup experience. But they had one thing in common. They were always hungry at night. You know that feeling. Studying in a group until 10 p.m. Craving something tasty. But every place is closed. Delivery fees are higher than the food itself. So they thought, if we're hungry, others must be too. Why don't we open a shop that's only open from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m.? It sounded crazy. No one else dared do it. They had no experience. And that's exactly why it was an opportunity. They borrowed money from friends, bought ingredients on credit, cooked out of a shared dorm kitchen. And then, they launched 3 bold strikes. Right out the gate. Fire Strike 1. Odd hours plus addictive menu plus casual setup. Open only from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Student craving dishes. Egg yolk noodles. Beef and cheese bowls. Grilled rice paper. Peach tea with full toppings. No tables. Everyone sat on picnic mats. Outlets and strong Wi-Fi included. Fire Strike 2. Real promotions. No gimmicks. First week. Flat price. 20 Vietnamese dongs per item. Nightly live streams with giveaways for fastest comments. Come 3 times equals become a VIP member. With guaranteed seating. Fire Strike 3. Viral TikTok and student group domination. Daily videos titled, Late Night Hunger, a Student Tragedy. Friends helped share to dozens of university Facebook groups. One clip hit 50,000 views in just 3 days. Within 2 weeks, the place was packed every night. After 6 months, they opened a second spot near another university. And the most striking thing? They didn't wait until they were ready. They just hit. Hit hard. Hit loud. Hit to shake the market. The dragon slaying technique isn't for the cautious. It's for those who dare to think big, move fast, and own every hit they throw. Yes, this strategy comes with high risk. If you miss, you lose energy, capital, maybe even confidence. But if it's the right moment, the right crowd, and the right move, you can trigger a domino effect your competitors can't react to. Some victories don't come from slow persistence. They come from one explosive moment, hit at exactly the right time. And some opportunities don't open twice. If you're standing in front of your one shot, don't hesitate. Don't wait for ideal. Because sometimes, one bold move is all it takes to go from nobody to phenomenon. This is the dragon slaying 18 palms. It's not for testing. It's for finishing the game before it even begins. EMEI. The compassion palm technique. The quiet strength of kindness and trust, when business isn't about selling, but touching lives. Not everyone who steps into the business world comes armed with strategies, pitch decks, or wild ambition. Some begin gently. They're not here to beat anyone. They're just here to bring something good to others. And strangely enough, something beautiful happens. They don't just survive. They are loved. They are remembered. They become part of their customer's memory. That's the spirit of MA and its legendary move. The compassion palm technique. It's not a strike meant to win a duel. It's not fast. It's not loud. It's something that seeps in. Slowly. Deeply. Until no one wants to leave. In martial arts, the compassion palm doesn't scare people. It doesn't attack. It carries no threat. And yet, it makes others step back. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Out of peace. Out of something unspoken but deeply felt. In business, this is the power of kindness. A long path, a slow one, but one that, when walked with sincerity, creates loyalty that no coupon or ad can buy. Let me tell you a quiet story. The kind that may stay with you for a very long time. Hang, 43 years old. Used to be a PE teacher in Tu Duc. Health issues forced her into early retirement. Instead of giving up, she turned to yoga, just to heal herself. But through that journey, she found something even deeper. She found herself. After 2 years of practice and some self-study and therapeutic movement, she decided to open a small yoga class. Right in her backyard. No signage. No promotions. No fixed tuition fees. She told me something I'll never forget. I don't teach yoga. I was once in pain. So now I understand what people in pain need. Every student paid what they could. Enough for her to buy drinking water, a few mats, and tend the little garden by the side of the house. At first, only 3 people came. Then they told their friends. 5 turned into 10. 10 became 20. Each session, they sat in silence. The wind blowing softly. Music playing gently. No one wanted to break the stillness. A year later, an herbal clinic invited her to co-found a larger wellness center. She declined. I just want this to be a place people come to and feel lighter. There were no marketing strategies, no viral content, but her class was never empty, even though she wasn't selling anything. That is the compassion palm technique in business. You don't pressure people to buy. You don't create urgency or scarcity. You simply make them feel safe, heard, seen, understood, and they come back. Not every business needs to scale quickly. Not every brand needs to reach the masses. Some people, like Hang, only need 20 loyal customers. But those 20 stay for years. And they never compare her to anyone else. You could be that kind of entrepreneur. If you believe in transforming hearts, not just closing sales. If you want real relationships, not transactions. If you're ready to touch the human side of your customers, not manipulate their behavior. That's the way of MA. Soft, but unbreakable. Not attacking, but deeply respected. Not rushed, but built to last. You don't need many customers. You just need the right ones and real connection. Because your customers are not just data. They're human beings. And when a human gives you their trust, they'll hold you in their heart longer than any ad campaign ever could. Wash on. Purple Cloud Divine Technique. Refined, singular, and impossible to replicate. There's a kind of person in business you don't meet often. They don't stand out in the crowd. They don't chase numbers. They don't follow what's hot. They move quietly. They work in silence. But every product they create feels like something only they could have made. That's the spirit of Wash On, and its mysterious inner technique. The Purple Cloud Divine Skill. In martial arts, this is a strange style of cultivation. No 2 practitioners train the same way. No one fully understands how it flows. Why? Because each master creates their own method. One that matches their breath, rhythm, and soul. Unique, uncopyable. And in business, there are people just like that. They don't create for the masses. They don't produce what everyone else does. They craft something so personal, so deeply interwoven with their taste, experience, emotions, and soul, that only they can make it. Let me tell you a soft story. A quiet one, but poetic. Dung, 28 years old. Trained in graphic design. He worked at an agency in Dalat. Routine days, tight deadlines. But over time, his joy drained away. One day, for a close friend's birthday, he hand-painted a letter. Watercolor, illustration, calligraphy, a sealed envelope. Inside, a piece of memory. Something more than words. His friend cried, and told him, "You should do this. No one else makes something like this." So Dung quit. He started a small, almost secret project called One Item, One Lifetime. Customers send him a story, a memory, a moment they want to capture. He reads, he reflects, then he handwrites, hand paints, seals it. Each letter is a singular creation. No scans, no copies, no digital versions. He only accepts 5 commissions per week. Each takes a few days to finish. The price? Around $12 to $30. Not cheap, not fast, but no one ever haggles. Because they know, what they're receiving isn't a product. It's a part of their own soul, returned in the form of art. His clients aren't collectors. They're people searching for lost emotions. A proposal letter, an apology to their mother, a message for a father who has passed, a letter never to be sent, only written to heal. Dung doesn't run ads. He doesn't do PR. But every product he makes is shared, not to show off, but because it's too beautiful to keep only for oneself. You see, not every business is meant to scale. Some things are born to stay small. Because if you scale them, they lose their soul. That is the Purple Cloud Divine Technique. It's not meant to explode. Not meant to dominate. It's meant to touch a small circle of people, deeply, truly, and for life. If you have your own taste. If you're an artist at heart. If you can turn lived experience into deeply personal creations, then you don't need to go big. You just need to go true. Go real. Go you. Because in a world full of copies, those who live honestly are irreplaceable. You don't need to run fast. You just need to walk in the right direction, with your own feet. Every product you create, if it carries the essence of you, may never go viral, but it will live in someone's heart for a very, very long time. The purple cloud divine technique is not for the impatient. It's for those willing to walk slow, but make every step a masterpiece. Xiao Yao. Northern Dark Arts and Shifting Steps. The strategy of borrowing power, adapting with grace, and living freely on your own terms. There's a question I've heard more times than I can count. A question that's raw, honest, and quietly painful. I don't have capital. I don't have any special skills. I don't have connections. What can I possibly do? If that question has ever echoed in your heart, if it's ever made you freeze, hold back, or quietly give up, then let me tell you about one of the most unique martial arts sects in Jin Yang's universe. Xiao Yao, the school of the free and unbound. Unlike Shaolin, they don't rely on deep internal strength. Unlike the Beggars sect, they don't smash their way forward. Unlike Hua Shan, they don't refine one signature move to perfection. Xiao Yao walks a different path. Free, fluid, unattached to systems, strategies, or fixed styles. Their two signature techniques are Northern Dark Arts, absorbing energy from others, transforming it into your own power. Shifting Steps, moving with such unpredictability that no one can pin you down. And this is the mindset of those who thrive by borrowing momentum, adapting quickly, and creating their own rhythm in a world that demands conformity. You don't have capital? That's okay. You're not highly skilled? No problem. As long as you can see the value in others and know how to connect the right people at the right time, you're already in the game. Let me tell you the story of Ha, a Vietnamese woman living in San Jose. No storefront, no inventory, no formal business training, just one thing: a natural connection with the Vietnamese community, especially those who love Japanese products. It all started with a simple act. Ha would buy Japanese shampoo for her mom. One day, a neighbor asked her to buy some too. Then a friend at the local Vietnamese fair asked. Soon, one bottle turned into 10. But Ha didn't stock up. She didn't open a store. She simply took orders, pulled requests, and placed bulk orders through a shipping service. Each transaction made her $5 to $10. Not much, but no risk, no storage, no ads, just trust, and her ability to keep her word. Clients came back, not because she was the cheapest, but because she chose the right products, delivered on time, and answered questions like a friend. Will this work for color-treated hair? She'd research and reply in detail. I'm allergic to fragrance. Do you have anything milder? She'd find reviews, verify it, and only then accept the order. A year later, Ha expanded naturally. She began sourcing skincare, supplements, kitchen tools, all through partnerships with small Japanese shops. Still the same rules. No stocking, no pressure, no chasing growth. And yet, she earned a living. And a stable one at that. Ha didn't build $1 million startup. She built something softer. A relationship-based business. Familiar faces selling to familiar faces. Done with care, consistency, and integrity. That's Xiao Yao. No rigid systems. No rushing to scale. Just lightness, enough to stay unbound. And wisdom. Enough to find the small gaps in the market where others don't look. In an age where everyone screams, build systems, open chains, dominate the market, there's still space for those who move quietly, elegantly, and smartly. They're not frontline soldiers. They're not chasing the crowd. They're the ones who pause when others run, sprint when others stall, and sometimes don't move at all, but still arrive. And the best part? They're less tired, because they don't push, force, or compete. They let the game unfold on their terms. Like water. Soft, but never breakable. So if you've ever said, I don't have anything to start with, just remember, neither did Xiao Yao. They started with empty hands, but clear eyes, and feet that know how to move with the times. Studio Microphone Ming Sect. Universe Reversing Shift Technique. When you pivot your model and rewrite the game, because the old rules no longer serve you. Sometimes, You find yourself at a crossroads. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the game has changed. What once worked no longer does. What you once mastered is now irrelevant. And in that moment, you don't need to fight harder. You need a new way to move. That's when the secret technique of the Ming sect appears. The universe reversing shift, known in martial arts as Kan Kon Dai Na Di. It's not a direct attack. It's a redirection of internal energy. A complete inversion of flow. A shift that turns the trapped into the empowered. The outsider into the one who owns the center again. And in business, it's the same. There comes a time when your old strategy doesn't work anymore. Not because you're weak, but because the rules have shifted. If you don't pivot, you get stuck. Let me tell you the story of Uncle Two, a seasoned woodworker in Orange County. For over 10 years, his workshop fulfilled bulk orders for furniture companies. B2B, wood imported, cut, assembled, packed, shipped in containers. It ran smoothly until COVID-19 hit. Orders vanished. Factories shut down. Contracts frozen. Piles of wood just sat there. Workers gone. Machines collecting dust. He almost liquidated everything. One day, scrolling Facebook, he saw a young woman making a DIY bookshelf out of scrap wood. Thousands of views. He chuckled, bitterly. That's the same scrap I've been burning for years. But then, a new thought crept in. If people enjoy making things, why not sell to the makers? No more heavy furniture. No more custom sets. Just small DIY kits. Pre-cut wood, screws, sandpaper, assembly guide, plus a how-to video. He asked his son to build a simple website with a shopping cart. Customers picked a design and ordered online. Each kit? $20 to $60. Light to ship. No labor. No installations. No warranties. He had shifted from a woodworker filling orders to a creator of experiences. Customers weren't just buying lumber. They were buying the feeling of making something with their own hands. One dad built a shelf to display family photos. A young man crafted a frame as a gift for his girlfriend. A mother bought a kit so her kids could do a weekend STEM project. That is Kan Kon Dai Na Di. You don't need new tools. You just redirect the flow of what you already have. The market isn't dead. It's just that your old direction no longer fits the new world. And those who survive? Not the strongest, but the ones who know when to pivot. You might be in a job that feels secure, stable, but dare to ask yourself, if everything flipped tomorrow, how would I shift? Is my current model a path? Or a cage? You don't always need to start from scratch. Sometimes, all it takes is a shift in perspective. What once felt outdated, an old skill, an unused resource, can suddenly become your newest advantage. If placed in the right context. Don't stretch yourself chasing what's trendy. Pause. Look at what you already have. Then ask, is there another way to use this? Because sometimes, the problem isn't that you lack something, but that you've held on too tightly to a model that no longer belongs in this time. The universe reversing shift doesn't make you stronger. It brings you back to center. After life has pushed you to the edge. And from there, you don't just play the game. You design it. Quanzhen. Pure Yang Endless Energy Technique. The silent power of deep internal strength. Building trust that lasts beyond trends. We live in an age where everything moves fast. Fast launches. Fast sales. Fast fame. And then, fast collapse. Everyone talks about growth, virality, scaling, but very few talk about sustainability. About a kind of growth that isn't loud, isn't flashy, but slowly, steadily takes root in people's hearts. In martial arts, there's one technique like that. It isn't flashy. It's not something you perform on stage. But it's the foundation for all true power. It's called Thuan Duong Vo Cup Than Kong. The pure yang endless energy technique of the Shenzhen sect. It's not meant to strike. Not meant to defend. It's meant to cultivate inner energy. To nourish your strength from within. So that every other technique you use becomes more effective. In business, this is internal strength. It's quality. It's craftsmanship. It's decades of trust built quietly. It's why people choose you without needing ads. Why they return. Why they recommend you. Why they stay loyal, not because of discounts, but because of trust. Let me tell you a beautiful story. Not because it's unusual, but because it's deeply quiet. Like the man in it. Uncle Sao. a woodcraft artisan in Houston. He makes ancestral altars from solid wood. No signs, no website, no ads. And yet, for 20 years, he's never lacked clients. Not many, but loyal, consistent, respectful. People come through word of mouth. If you want a sacred altar made with care, go to Uncle Sal. He's meticulous, takes his time, but the result, flawless. It's been 3 years, and I still feel peace when I light incense. He doesn't mass produce. Only about 15 orders a year. Every piece of wood is hand-picked, sun-dried, no chemicals. Every detail carved by hand. Delivered personally. Set up with care. To him, an altar isn't furniture. It's sacred. He once said something I'll never forget. An altar holds the soul of the family. If you build it carelessly, that's a sin. And because of that, his customers never bargain. They don't compare prices. They don't rush him. They wait. Because they know, it's better to wait for something made with heart than to receive something made just for profit. That is Thuan Duong Vo Kut Than Kong. No shortcuts. No gimmicks. Just doing it right. With depth. With patience. With heart. And when you walk that path, your name carries itself. No shouting required. In this digital era, we're pressured to show up. To launch constantly. To stay visible. But sometimes, the thing you really need is to turn inward. Recalibrate your craft. Rebuild your foundation. Because customers today, they don't lack options. They lack trust. And trust is not built by clever words. It's built by doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Just like internal strength, it's not visible. But the longer you train it, the deeper it goes, the stronger you become. If you work in fields with depth, like food, handmade goods, therapy, education, or anything rooted in tradition, then internal strength is your greatest long-term advantage. People may come out of curiosity, but they stay because they feel safe. And safety? No marketing campaign can fake that overnight. The pure yang technique won't make you famous, but it will make you enduring. You don't need 100,000 customers. You just need a few hundred who remember you for life. Peach Blossom Island. Jade Flute Sword Technique. When your product becomes your soul, and beauty becomes your legacy. Some people don't go into business for money. They don't start because they want to sell more, scale fast, or dominate markets. They start because they simply want to create something beautiful. A beauty that doesn't follow trends. That doesn't aim to please the crowd. That doesn't need to go viral. They create because something inside them must be expressed. And what they make carries a piece of their soul. In the world of martial arts, there's one school that lives this spirit. They're not here to conquer. Not here to fight for power or position. They're here to preserve grace, elegance, individual truth. That's Peach Blossom Island, home of the gentle, poetic move, the Jade Flute Sword Technique. It's not aggressive, not showy, but every strike is a melody. A stroke of art, a moment suspended in time. If you have an artist's soul, if you've always felt a little off from traditional success formulas, you may just find yourself in this story. Let me tell you about Mai, a 33-year-old woman in Seattle. She studied fine arts, but never quite enjoyed working in design firms. She spent years trying different jobs, from coffee shops to teaching kids how to draw. One day, in a quiet moment of sadness, she picked up a brush and painted a single line of calligraphy on an old shirt. Sincerity is a light that never blinds the eye. She wore it out. A friend asked if she could make one for them. Then another. And another. From that single spontaneous act, a soft breeze began to stir. And it carried her down a path she never planned, turning each shirt into a personalized work of art. Each word, each stroke, infused with story and soul. Mai doesn't mass produce. She doesn't use heat transfer printers. She hand paints every piece. Each letter, a breath. Each line, a pause. Like writing a small part of the wearer's spirit onto cloth. Her customers send her stories. One wrote a message never spoken to their late father. Another sent a love poem for their partner. Some just wanted a single word, calm, to wear over the heart like a shield. Mai doesn't own a store. She doesn't run ads. She just shares photos on Instagram, shot on her old phone. Using natural light, she takes no more than 30 orders a month. Each piece takes hours, sometimes a whole day, especially when the story is deep. She isn't rich. But every shirt she sends out feels like she's sending a piece of herself. And every thank you she receives makes it all worth it. Peach Blossom Island isn't for the masses. It's for those who dare to live true to their taste, their art, their rhythm. In a world where everything can be cloned, copied, and mass-produced, the one thing that cannot be replicated is your soul in your work. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be mainstream. You just need to be true enough to touch the right person, deeply. If you love beauty, if you move slowly but with intention, if you'd rather walk a narrow path that's yours, than run down someone else's highway, then know this: your path may be small, but it may also be deeper and longer than you realize. Don't force yourself to become someone else, because when you live in full authenticity, what you create becomes irreplaceable. And in a world moving faster every day, the one who holds onto their uniqueness is the one who lasts the longest. Starry Sect, the twin spirit palm. When you don't need to show up often, to still be unforgettable. In life, the more we see something, the easier it is to forget. But then, there are things that appear just once, and linger in the mind, for a very, very long time. They're not loud. They don't market hard. They don't show up every week. But every appearance leaves a mark, like a shooting star. Brief, but unforgettable. In martial arts, that is the twin spirit palm of the Starry Sect. A rare, elusive technique. Invisible, unpredictable, never constant. But every strike lands deep, because it arrives at the perfect moment, and vanishes before the opponent even knows what happened. In business, this is the art of making waves and then disappearing. Not showing up everywhere, not saying too much, but every time you do show up, you touch something real, a story for you. There's a tiny handmade wool brand in Dalat. It's called Lang, which means silence. No signboard, no ad budget, no live streams, and they only open sales once a year. That's right, just one release. No holiday drops, no Tet promotions, no trending collabs. Each release lasts exactly 2 weeks. In November, as the cold begins to settle in Dalat, each sweater, hand-knitted over the prior 9 months. No wide sizing, no endless designs, just one item, lovingly made. A quiet companion for the colder season. Warm, durable, with a soul. Here's the strange part. They've never run a single PR campaign. And yet, they sell out within days. Why? Because people don't buy the sweater to stay warm. They buy it to feel like they're part of something deeply personal. One customer said, "I only wear my Lang sweater on rainy afternoons. With tea and old letters." Another shared, "There's only one chance a year to get one. That makes me treasure it more than any brand name item." This is the power of intentional absence. Not about being gone, but knowing exactly when to appear, and how to leave a deep emotional resonance. The twin spirit palm isn't for those who need to impress constantly. It's for those who understand. The best presence is the one that stays in the heart the longest. If you're someone who doesn't love posting all the time, doesn't chase constant visibility, but still wants to create real emotional impact, you can choose this path. The path of strategic rhythm. The path of showing up, then stepping back, and letting your audience feel, remember, and long for more. Not every brand needs to publish content daily. Not every business needs to push new products every week. Some only need one offering per year. But that one moment has to be unique, deep, and honest. Because the market doesn't only crave products. The market craves emotion. And emotion doesn't run on frequency. It runs on space, on stillness, on the time needed to feel. You don't need to be present all the time. You just need to be present. At the right time, in the right way, to the right people. That's how the Starry Sect strikes. That's how brands with rare presence stay forever alive in people's memories. Bullseye, and that is the final move in our journey through the 10 business strategies from the great martial arts sects. If you've made it here with me, then I believe you no longer see business as just money or scale. You see it as a journey. A journey of choosing your style, choosing your pace, choosing how you want to exist in the marketplace. No one size fits all. No right or wrong. Only what feels most true to you. I hope to meet you again on the next journey. But if you saw even a little part of yourself in one of these 10 strategies, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to start mastering it. Because the strongest warriors are not the ones who learn every technique. They're the ones who master one to its deepest core. The right move, the right person, the right time. A conclusion isn't an end. It's a moment to see the road ahead more clearly. After all these strategies, techniques, metaphors, and stories, the most important thing isn't how many styles or moves you can remember. It's this, that you pause, just for a moment, and ask yourself, which move is truly mine? In martial arts, people often ask, what's the strongest move? But the real masters smile and say, the strongest move is the one that fits the person at the right time, in the right situation. And business, or life, is no different. There's no guaranteed formula, no one path that fits everyone. You don't have to learn every skill. You don't need to be good at everything. You don't need to chase every new trend. You just need to choose a path that fits you. Go deep enough, train seriously, stay long enough, and you'll become a master of your own style. Success doesn't belong to the one who knows the most. It belongs to the one who knows themselves best. Who knows when to move forward, when to pull back, when to strike, and when to wait in silence. You might be someone who values peace. Then follow the path of Wudang. You adapt easily? You're probably from Xiaoyao sect. You have an artist soul? Peach Blossom Island is for you. You're steady and grounded? Go deep like Chen Zhen. You don't need to be like anyone else. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You just need to be more you. Every single day. Because the winner in the marketplace isn't always the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. Often, it's the one who doesn't get pulled into others' game plans. Who knows exactly what game they're playing and plays it on their own terms. We don't need to do more. We just need to do the right thing. With the right people, at the right time, using the right move. Thank you for walking with me through these 10 powerful philosophies from martial arts and business. If you found yourself in any one of them, that's where you can start. No need to rush. Just take that first step. And go deep. Bullseye, because mastery doesn't belong to the one who knows the most moves. It belongs to the one who masters one move. To its very core. Right finger. I hope to see you again in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the deeper side of business, mindset, and self-discovery. And if you feel this journey was worth sharing, don't hesitate to send it to someone you care about. Let the ripple continue. Because sometimes, the softest messages leave the deepest marks.